Welcome to Wait Here Please. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sophia.
And I'm the other, Mariah, and it's great to be back.
Whoop, whoop. We're very excited because we actually are on our original schedule.
Finally. And we didn't even think this was going to happen today because my partner took my personal computer to work with him. And then my other computer is my work computer. And I left my charger at work because, my brain was like, oh, you have a computer at home. We don't need this one to work. And just when we go to log on to do this, we realize that computer is dead too. So here we are working off my iPhone. So if things are a little different today, blame it on my technological issues.
Okay, first of all, I have to defend Mariah on this one. It is the partner. Right. It's the partner is the one that took your computer.
Yeah. There's no words.
Don't worry. It's fine.
We're making it work. We're doing this.
We're doing the damn thing. So, today is actually a very exciting podcast. I don't know. I'm excited for this one. How do you feel?
Me too, because there's a lot of information in here that I kind of know. But because you've recently experienced it, there's some things that I don't know about that you're going to surprise me with that we haven't even talked about. So I'm excited for today and to see what we all learn.
We haven't even announced what we're discussing.
Oh, well, I kind of give it away.
But if people don't know what happened to me.
Fair.
So, today we're discussing brain injuries and concussions because we were hoping to do this in March, but unfortunately my concussions were not so well.
Yeah.
And so we're doing it in April. But that's okay. So literally last month was Brain Injury Awareness Month.
Which was ironic for the fact that you were going through a brain injury.
Yes. And so I thought we could first start out with kind of discussing our experiences with brain injuries and then kind of go into what a concussion is and go through that. Or would you like to start with how someone can get a concussion?
Ooh. Let's go with how somebody can get a concussion.
Sounds good. So, there's a couple of things that really surprised me. We're specifically talking about women. The reason why is because apparently with women, it's a little bit different than men when they get the concussions. So this is from the University of Utah. And all of the research will be in the description box for everyone to look more into. But basically, this is what she said about the differences of women who experience concussions compared to men. Women will often note more difficulty with vision and memory following a concussion, but are less likely to experience a loss of concussionness, I can't pronounce that, than male athletes, Minacho says. Female athletes may also experience more trouble with mood-related symptoms like anxiety, depression, and difficulty sleeping, but are less likely to report feeling more irritable after concussion than female athletes. Female athletes also tend to have a longer recovery time than males, though this isn't always the case. Recent studies have shown that men typically recover from their concussions significantly faster than women. This is thought to be because women may experience more severe symptoms, which require more time to resolve before returning to sports or returning to life.
Oh. And I'm wondering, because you said in there that it impacted our mood and whatnot a little bit more. I'm wondering if it goes back to obviously our genetics, because they also say that, when you get pregnant and you become a parent, your brain does some weird stuff too.
Mhm.
Like it sh- um it
Like
shrinks, and that's where the
alters?
mom fog.
Alters?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of mom fog comes from that, and like memory problems and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if, like, because I mean they're related,
Right.
that explains a lot of why women also have more complex issues when it comes to having a concussion, because your brain is impacted significantly.
Yeah. And this is, I think, why women get more concussions as well,
Hmm.
which I didn't know this fact. Women tend to have thinner skulls than men, which I think is fucking hilarious considering how hard-headed Mariah and are. We are probably two of the most stubborn people you will ever meet.
Yes. Yes.
Then they say, along with smaller neck muscles, which can predispose female athletes to get a concussion, says Sarah Manacho, MD, a neurosurgeon and neurocritical care specialist at University of Utah Health. Data shows that women are also more likely than men to report concussion-related symptoms, and these symptoms can persist for a longer time period prior to recovery than in male athletes.
And that makes sense, especially knowing you and your hard headedness of not quite talking so much about all the symptoms that you've had.
Back at ya. What are you talking about?
Well,
Not telling me anything. Oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh, why? Oh. Well, so don't even try. Don't even try.
I'm not the one that recently had a concussion. Don't bring me into this one.
But I think that the smaller neck muscles make sense.
It does.
The thinner skulls.
As a person who's always been identified as being hard headed, raising two girls that are very hard headed,
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear that one.
So now, what do we say when we're stubborn? No, I have a thinner skull. No, I'm thin skulled. Like what? But have you ever heard anyone talk about that?
No, not about that. And I'm trying to think back, because growing up, my mom dated a neurosurgeon, but I don't remember ever hearing anything about this. No, not especially about that.
And I think what's interesting and what immediately when they said more likely than men to report concussion related symptoms, I think that's why specifically with the NFL, that's why they said they have now doctors in the stadium saying like you need to take them out. They hit their head, they need to be looked at. I don't think they have that in women's sports. Like women's rugby specifically, because women's rugby is starting to get really popular. Women's soccer.
Yeah.
I don't think they have that either.
And I'm sure I know they have doctors, because like you see them run out when
Right.
they get hurt, but as far as a brain surgeon or somebody who specializes in neurology,
Right.
I'm not sure.
But also like they are just looking for someone to hitting their head. Like they're not looking at anything else. I feel like with the doctors on the field, they have to like look at everything.
Everything, exactly.
So like I think that's why they have other doctors for the NFL, but like I mean women athletes deserve this too.
Exactly.
So I thought that was really interesting because this is how you can get a concussion. You can get a concussion through a car accident, which is how I got my second concussion. Mariah, have you ever gotten a concussion through a car accident?
Yes. Which I forgot about. And then as I'm going through the VA stuff, they're like, oh, in this year you got a concussion from a car accident. I'm like, oh, yeah.
There you go. Memory loss.
Memory loss. Permanent. I mean,
a fall, which that's how I got my first concussion. What about you?
I don't think it was from a fall.
Sports injury, hitting your head on the ground, hitting your head on something solid. Getting punched or kicked in the head. I mean, UFC, kickboxing.
I mean, you even look at sports, soccer, especially if you're a goalie, those kind of things. You're not being punched or hit on the head, but that's coming at your head.
Thank you for reminding me that. I gave my friend a concussion then. Someone on my soccer team, I sucked at soccer, even though I really liked it. I kicked the ball and it hit her head. So, like, that's hitting your head on something solid.
Yeah. And, like, people, like, they do headers and stuff like that. That's got to have an impact on your brain, especially with
yeah. I'm trying to think if anyone's, like, been vocal about getting a concussion by hitting their head.
No, and I know that was probably my first or second concussion was playing soccer. And a ball came at my face, and the next thing I know, I'm being carried off the field. And then, like,
how old were you?
6th or 7th grade.
Oh, you were young. You were young.
Yeah. And the next thing I know, I'm going back and playing the game. So, like,
yay, coach!
Is it really taken seriously? But again, that was what, 20-ish years ago?
I mean, is it taken seriously now?
Exactly.
Because, I mean, like I said, we only really just started seeing them taking care of quote-unquote NFL players. But, like, let's be real. I mean, immediately when I think of concussions, I think of Tua Tagovailoa. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I apologize. He is the Dolphins quarterback. He's the one that he is the reason that they had this concussion change.
Yeah. And that's only happened within the past, last year? That was the first year that, and that they're allowed to wear the extra guard on their helmets.
I think it should be mandatory. Like, you choose. It's not mandatory. And that's why I think of rugby players. There's no protection for them.
Nope.
Although sometimes, I haven't seen it much in women's, but I know in men's rugby, I have seen, like, a little padding, like a little thing, but like, I haven't, and I love women's rugby. I haven't seen much.
I'm wondering if that's because people say, like, women aren't so aggressive.
Women aren't hard-headed. Yeah, well, here you go, fuckers. We're not, apparently, according to science.
According to science, our skulls are thinner.
Yeah.
Does that mean our brains are bigger because they have more room to fill?
I don't think so. I think our brains are tiny. No, you know why I think our brains are tiny? Do you remember Jimmy Neutron?
Yes.
And, like, when Jimmy Neutron...
He had a big head.
That's not what I was going to talk about. I miss Jimmy Neutron. Like, those kind of shows need to come back.
They do.
But there was an episode where he went in someone's brain, and the brain was like...
Like an actual walnut, yes.
Yes.
That episode.
Bring back Jimmy Neutron. That was, like, a banger. And then the last way to get a concussion is assault. Here are some of the symptoms. This I thought was a really amazing find. This specific site is called I want to make sure that they're called Pink Concussions. So this site specializes specifically in women who get concussions. They have a YouTube channel to learn for everyone to learn about TBI in women. TBI is traumatic brain injuries. Support groups for women, girls, and caregivers. They also have research peer-reviewed journals. Like, this is a really amazing site. This is what they said about concussions and how you can get a concussion. This is from Pink Concussions. Mm-hmm. They specialize in female brain injury from sports violence and military service. These are the common symptoms: confusion, headache, vision disturbances, double or blurry vision, dizziness or unbalance, nausea, vomiting, memory loss, ringing ears, difficulty concentrating, sensitivity to light, loss of smell or taste. I've never heard that one.
No,
I've never heard that.
not that one.
And trouble falling asleep, which I have. If any of these occur after a blow to the head, a healthcare professional should be consulted as soon as possible, is what they say. So I think out of all of these symptoms, what kind of stuck out to you the most? For me, it was obviously the loss of smell or taste.
Yeah, that one. And then the ringing in the ears. Because I know that's one that you actually mentioned to me that you have been having and weren't telling anybody. And I could see it like when the incident happens, like as you're going through that.
Yeah.
That, but not long term. I was shocked to hear that you were still having it after what, a month and a half at this point.
I had my car accident January 28th.
Okay.
So it is March 3rd when we are recording this.
April 3rd.
Jesus Christ. April 3rd. It's fine. It's fine. I think for me, the other one was trouble falling asleep.
Yeah.
I never experienced that in my first concussion, but this round, I had severe trouble of sleep. And the problem with that, I think, is that's how your brain recovers, is sleep. Like laying down, but your brain is still active.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cannot stop your brain from like thinking things. That's why sleep is so vital. So trouble falling asleep was not something I was expecting. So learning about that in my own experience was really insane. Did you ever experience that?
Not that I can remember. Not that I can remember. With the ones that I've experienced, it was more so like the headaches, the nausea, the blurry vision, the ringing in the ears during the moment. But not so much, at least, but I've always had sleep issues, so I don't know if it's if it was amplified or not.
Fair. That makes
I'm wondering
sense.
if that's why 2 months later that yours is still impacting you so much is because your brain hasn't been able to fully reset and have the sleep that you needed to recover.
And that's the thing, like, and we're going now into like our own experiences. Mm-hmm. I think that for me personally, I didn't really get a lot of support from the hospitals. I don't know if you got the same. And even from my PCP. So when I talked about trouble falling asleep, it was like, oh, just take melatonin. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, but like apparently, obviously, it's more than that, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that goes to show that, like, yes, primary care providers or general practitioners with these kinds of things, you need to speak with an actual specialist in this career, this area of being a doctor, because general practitioners, they know a little bit of everything, but not too much.
Do they? But that's the thing that's wild is like, you don't immediately have to see a neurologist.
Yeah.
All you do is see a PCP.
And they do what? An MRI or CT scan, if you're lucky enough for that to happen. Get told what? Try not to fall asleep for the first 6 hours.
First of all, I was awake because I was in the emergency room. But why is that? I don't understand that.
I don't know the science behind that.
Because that did not come up in any of my research.
And the times that I've talked with doctors about that, my kids are hard-headed. They fall. They are little daredevils. They take after their father with that one. So I call their doctors, and they're like, well, if they're not throwing up, just don't let them sleep for a little bit. Like, just make sure that they're going to eat and do everything okay.
Yeah, right. When it's nap time, let me not have my kids sleep.
The first time with the older one, I definitely tried to keep her up as long as
That's
possible.
fair. I mean,
And
you
then,
don't know.
yeah, you don't know, but as time moved on, I'm like, okay, you're not throwing up, you're acting normal.
Right.
Um, you're eating, you're doing everything you should be doing. Do I keep them up for a little bit longer? Yeah. I might watch them a little extra. I watch them a little extra on their
That's a lie.
monitors.
She constantly does that. That's not a new behavior.
No, no. But just, a little bit more observant over them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not exactly sure of like why they tell you not to sleep.
Yeah. But that's interesting because like just not throwing up. I mean, it
Yeah.
says nausea. My nausea was so bad.
Was it?
It was so bad. Like
Yeah.
how many concussions have you had? Now Mariah was in the military. Let me just emphasize that.
True, actual.
From what you remember, how many concussions have you had?
Three?
I don't know. Why you look? I don't know. You every time I ask you, you say you don't know. That's a problem.
It is but yeah, I don't know. Three.
Oh my God.
Before the age of 10, I can't tell you because I don't remember much of my childhood.
Obviously, that's fair.
Yeah. For those that are listening, my father died when I was 9, so a lot of my childhood I've blocked out. But yeah, I think 3 from what I remember. The car accident, which I was just reminded of.
How old were you when that happened? Did they tell you?
In my 20s.
Dude, that wasn't that long ago. You're not that old. Like, what is happening?
Like 10 years ago? That's a long ass time.
It ain't that fucking long. She's trying to make herself seem older than she actually is.
I don't even know how old I am anymore.
So a car accident, okay.
A car accident, the soccer accident.
Okay.
And then another time in the military, probably like 8 years ago, we were having so much fun as a unit playing ultimate fucking frisbee. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Team building. And
that's the last one I would want. I mean, people get intense with the ultimate frisbee. Like, intense.
Yes. My boyfriend at the time, who would eventually become my husband, and then my ex-husband, he threw the fucking frisbee at me and it hit me straight in the head, and I'm just laying on the ground.
That should have been the other red flag.
There should have been a lot of red flags with that one.
That's so... His aim, really good, guy. Really good, bud. Really good.
Yeah, right? He laughed about it.
Awesome.
I'm able to laugh about it, 10 years later? But, yeah. Those are 3 for sure. And he got into sports, and that's, like, one of the big things. His love for sports and women who play sports is why him and I did not work out.
I'm holding my tongue on what I want to say about him, so I'll move forward.
You move forward.
So it's funny that you said you remember, because you reminded me of one I think I had.
Okay.
So
you can't remember everything either.
I think it was like 5. 5 or 6. I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
And we were at an ex-family friend's house. And there was a stone wall. And we were playing. And my dumbass ran straight into that wall and collapsed.
Why did you run into
Listen, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I do not remember this. All I know is the ex-family friend told my mom not to take me to the emergency room. And my mom to this day regrets that. She's
Explains so much.
um so then the next day. Now this was like around graduation of kindergarten. I was about to go to first grade. So, but my mom picks me up. My face, I looked like a gorilla. My face was all black and blue, swollen. My eyes were shut. And my mom's like, "Why the fuck did you not call me to pick her up?" And there,
tried CPS didn't get involved.
and then I was just like walking down like a dumbass, and my mom's like horrified, rushes me to the doctor. I didn't have a concussion, question mark. Look at my fucking face. And so literally there's pictures of yeah, there's pictures of me at graduation with like purple circles. And it's just like, but then I'm smiling. I look so cute in my little dress. But
I need pictures of this.
I have to find it. It's like in the house somewhere. I'll find it. But my mom will, like, she's like, that is the one thing I will never forgive myself for, is not listening to her. And I was like, fair. So I'm sorry. Like, I feel like that had to have given me a concussion.
I feel like it did too, and that reminded me of 2 other incidents.
Dude, are you serious? You ran into a stone wall too?
No. And that's why I thought your story was going in a whole different direction, because I was like 4 or 5, jumping on the couch. Even though
no more monkeys jumping on the cute bed.
So I was jumping on the couch, and I don't remember this, but I know I had stitches in my head, or I still have a scar, because I fell off and bumped my fucking head on the brick stairs right next to the damn couch.
Was there brick stairs next to the couch? Who decided that was a good idea? Oh my. Okay, so what was the second one?
The second one, I don't know exactly when it was. I can't remember if it was right after my dad's death or shortly before it. But I know my mom, it had to have been. My mom was in nursing school.
Okay.
My brother and I were like, I was 8 or 9, so my brother would be like 10 or 11.
Okay.
We were down at the school, which we could walk to from our house.
Oh, like this was after school?
It was during the summer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We walked down to the school and we were playing kickball with friends, and the fucking kickball got stuck in the tree. So we find this huge rebarb pole.
Okay.
And use it to get the ball out of the tree.
Okay.
Which we did. And then my brother decided to let go of the pole. And I guess I was far enough away.
You weren't hard-headed enough, apparently.
Not hard-headed enough. It broke. I have a scar in my eyebrow.
Your mom probably was like, what the fuck is happening?
They used the dodgeball. They like tore it open and used the dodgeball to stop the bleeding.
First of all, how strong are they? Those dodgeballs are very hard.
But they're the foamy ones.
Oh, the foam. Oh, I was thinking of like the dodgeball from like the game dodgeball.
Yeah, no.
Like, okay.
And the next thing I know, like somebody's parent is picking me up. My brother's saying, "Don't tell mom." The fuck? I'm gushing blood.
Yeah, let me just try to remember a fucking story, bud.
Yeah. And then we're at urgent care, getting assessed. I don't remember much except because my mom was in nursing school. She was begging the doctor to let her do the stitches because she was just learning how to do them in school.
I'm sorry, your mom's fucking insane.
That's where I get it from.
Did they let her?
No.
Okay. That'd be kind of cool, Loki.
No. So, yeah, that, and I remember, like, having the headache, obviously, and nausea.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they said, like, we can't accept her. You have to go to the emergency room. I'm surprised like urgent care took you in actually.
Me too. Now that I'm thinking about it, but some urgent cares will do it. I don't know.
Yeah. So like Jesus Christ.
So what? That's probably like 5 there for me. Saying so much now that I think about what's actually happened in my fucking life.
I think people don't realize, like, I really don't think,
Mm-hmm.
um, cause like, I remember, like, there's been times, like, a fucking Himalaya salt lamp fell on my head. That fucking hurt. But was fine.
Yeah,
But then my first concussion, I slipped and fell on ice in my apartment parking lot. And I feel like that's very normal. It happens a
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
But I guess my neck, my little gentle neck, um, because I feel I can acknowledge like I don't do neck muscles
yeah.
strength exercises, but
Mm-hmm.
now like I feel I know it's important.
Yeah, I've definitely started doing more of them, at least strengthening. And I've had to specifically because I've had 3 shoulder surgeries, so I've had to rebuild a lot of my muscles too.
And so that I think from the whiplash and then my recent concussion was a car accident. And I think the thing that is very confusing is like once you have one, it's very easy to have more.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe that's why you have five.
hopefully, hopefully.
But
And it takes me a while to remember, and I'm sure there's more because I know I've been hit in the head, and I skied a lot,
mm,
um, and wasn't always the best skier.
skiing's
Uh,
scary.
Skiing is so much fun. Snowboarding, I'm pretty sure I broke my ass, if that's a thing. So
Tailbone.
yeah,
That's
fun,
lovely.
fun. But just from all the stuff, I mean, I'm sure there's more,
Mm,
or I wasn't, I guess, technically diagnosed with one, but I mean, still a brain injury. Your head gets hit. I can
right.
only imagine what that can do to your brain.
And that's why it's very confusing to me that it's not immediate neurologist and the
Right?
PCP.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's Sophie. Probably weird jump cut. But unfortunately, we were having technical difficulties, and when I was editing, the entire second half was just not sounding crisp and clear, and that's just not acceptable for Mariah and I. We want the best for y'all. So we are going to split the brain injury awareness into 2 parts. So this is part A, and then we'll have the second half for next week. We hope you enjoyed brain injury awareness because I think it's extremely important. If you feel like sharing your story or just want to talk, our email, you can follow us also on Instagram, Twitter, Bluesky, YouTube, um, TikTok. I think those are old ones. And all of the research that I was discussing in the very beginning, I will put in the description box. If there's any questions or anything, please let us know. And we hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and hope to see you later. Bye.